So, have you been watching my magical readathon spring equinoxes vlog? If not, you're not missing too much since I read pretty much everything in the last weekend, and so the wrap-up is going to happen right now. Sorry, not sorry. If you haven't watched those videos, I will leave them linked, and if you want to know the result of it, here's the video, because Jesus, I forgot to do it. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today I am going to be doing, as I've told you, my April wrap-up. And in April I have done a readathon, and that readathon actually was the magical readathon that is hosted by G from bookworms. I'm going to leave her link down below, and I'm going to leave somewhere my videos for the spring equinox edition. I was trying to be a necromancer, and for that I had to read 9 books, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, okay. 8 books. But then there were quests, and I decided, of course, I'm gonna do it, even though I have no life, only work. And I did, and I don't know how I did it, but I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more books. Comics, graphic novels, mangas, because books, I only read like 2, and the rest of it was just those small little things that allow us to win at marathons. So without further ado, I am here wrapping up what I've read for the month. Hopefully I won't forget anything. If I do, let's pretend I didn't, okay? So firstly, the things that I haven't read for the marathon or readathon, the magical readathon, I do believe I have read an issue of Saga and another issue of Lady Mechanika, the monster of... I don't remember. I'm thinking about another title. I think it's the monster of the Ministry of Hell. I think that's what it is. I'm going to put both of those here. Saga was enjoyable. We had a little bit more of feels throughout of the comic issue, and obviously everything that's Lady Mechanika is great, so I really love them both. That's it. That's the tea. And now we can get into the things that we read for the readathon, because that's all that is. So firstly, I read The Nice House on the Lake, issue 7. This is by James Tynion IV, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and Jordi Belair. And this was for the challenge Shapeshifting, which said you have to read a creature with claws on the cover. And I did, because if you can see here, there's rats, like actual aggressive motherfucking rats coming out of everywhere. The fridge, the drawers, everything. A nightmare, but kind of didn't happen in the comics, but the cover has it, so it is complete as per usual. I love the Nice House on the Lake series, and if you have the access to these comics and you want to read a story of horror with great protagonists that are not the stupid ones that are usually seen in some types of horror, and you really want a nice mind-fucking sort of story, this one would be for you. I love it and I cannot wait to finish it, but there's a long way to go. There's going to be another break and I cannot take it. Then the next course was Animal Studies, and it said we had to read a quick read, and so I read The Joker, issue 12. You've seen me talking about these issues. This cover is terrifying. The issues are really, really small. They have 20-something pages, so it was a quick read. And this is by James Tynion IV as well, and a lot of other people helping with the coloring and the cover designs and the art style. I don't remember all of them. I'm not going to take this off. You've seen me talk about this enough. So yeah, I just read it to catch up. Then the next challenge was Inscription, and you have to read an intimidating read. And the one that I read was The Joker Presents a Puzzlebox issue 7 by Matthew Rosenberg and a lot of other people. And why is this intimidating, you ask? Because it's a fucking comic and it's really, really small. Because this is the ending of this series. And in the beginning of this series, I didn't enjoy it a lot. I reread the beginning and then I liked it a little bit better, but it wasn't the best thing ever. Like, not even a good thing. It was strange and unusual and I didn't like it. But then it started to grow on me and I was really afraid that the ending was going to be terrible. and make me hate the entirety of the series, because I'm a very ending person. I can forgive a bad beginning if you give me a good ending. I'm that type of person. It hurts, it stains, it leaves its mark, but I can live with that. However, the ending was fine. It was pretty much what I was getting to from almost the beginning, but there were a few surprises, and I enjoyed it, and I laughed, and I understood that it was an enjoyable series overall. And so, because the Joker series and because it was interesting, I'm going to keep it, and I enjoyed it, let's just say. Then we had to read Spells and Incantations. It is supposed to be a short story series or an essay book. And I read the official manga anthology of RWBY number 5, which is Shine. And RWBY, I've told you many times, it's a animation. It's not an anime, it's an animation. And it's created by Rooster Teeth. And I have been watching it since the beginning. I love RWBY. I'm waiting for the next season so much. And they are doing this collection of short stories of the main characters of RWBY, and this is about this specific group. It was a very nice and entertaining short story collection. There were things that I didn't need it to be there, and you read these only to laugh if you know the characters and if you want some fan service or some fandom theories proven right. But it's still very enjoyable, and the characters are there, and you read it and you see them, and it's just, I don't know, it's nostalgia for those of us that really like the series. So it was interesting, let's say it. Then for Conjuration, we had to read a book with a source of light on the cover, and I chose the Joker issue 13 so that I could catch up the series that were coming out, like I think this month in May. Issue 14 is coming out, if I'm correct, and so I wanted to catch up to it because I had 2 behind. And as you can see here, there's a sun on the cover, and the sun is a source of light, and so that's why I found a way to put another comic in here, because I had no time to breathe. Then we had to read for Restoration a book featuring healers, and I read Children of the Whales volume 19 by Abi Umeda, and this is a manga series. I really love the art style of this manga series, but as I've been telling you, I feel like it's reaching its ending point, and apparently from this manga the author thinks the same, so maybe 1 or 2 more mangas and this is going to finish, because honestly everything almost has been dealt with, so we're just doing like the grand finale, and it's done, okay? It's done. I like it. I love the characters. I love the series. I love the emotions, but when something is done, like it's over, don't push it. Just don't do it, because it's not going to end up okay. And in Children of the Whales, some people have magic and can use it to heal themselves, and some people actually learn healing because they're like in an island, in a sand island that goes through the sea, and so they have to learn how to heal themselves and whatever. Obviously, they're not physicians and they're not total medical practitioners, but let's just say that I needed a short read. I wanted to read this one to catch up with the series, and healers. It was the only thing that I could remember that I had here that I haven't read that had healers, and it was short and I could read it fast, so that's what I did. Then for the class of lore, we had to read a mythology-inspired book, and I read The Many Deaths of Lila Starr. This is by RWBY and Philippe Andrade, and wow. Just wow. This is a graphic novel, and it's inspired by Indian mythology, and it's basically about a child is going to be born that is going to invent living forever, like never dying, life eternal. And so Death gets fired from her job because this child is going to be born, and so Death will not be needed to work there in the corporate of the gods. And so she gets to Earth and incarnates in someone, and she wants to desperately find that child and possibly kill that child, or at least ask that person not to invent eternal life. And it's the story of death and the story of life, and how they intertwine, and how life and death are essential and are a part of the process of living, and how death in life and life in death is what makes life worth living to the point that you're going to die. and it was excruciatingly beautiful, and I loved this. It was one of the best reads that I had in the month. Absolutely, I would say. Then for demonology, I had to read a book with the word shadow in the title, and I read Shadow Kissed. I don't have it here, I have it on my Kindle, and I can't show you because it's like black and white, so I'm just going to insert the image here if I remember. And this is by Rebecca L. Garcia, if I remember correctly, the author. Yes, I think it is, but you will see it in the cover. Sorry, I don't remember. And it's a vampire story. Sorry, not sorry. At the beginning, I thought it was going to be terrible and just like fandom Wattpaddy thing, but actually it had a lot of world building, and it has a cool magic system, and it has interesting characters and development. Of course, it's not an amazing like heavy fantasy series, but for those of us that love vampires, it's actually really dark and really intriguing. It has royal courts, and it has light, shadows, it has witching powers, the power of empathy, which I find it amazing, and it has many sides, and people want to kill you, and there's terrible things. It has two types of vampires that are they only feed on blood, and they're like the high vampires, and then we have vampires that feed on the souls, and they're like demon vampires that have to destroy your body to get to your soul, and it's like really gruesome. And it was darker than I was expecting, and it was really interesting. I think I can't give it a 5 stars because there was stuff there that I was like, really? This is a dialogue we're going with? And our main character was extremely plain. But I really enjoyed all of the process. It has a lot about grief, and it has a lot about being who you're meant to be or being who you want to be. And it's just, it's really fun. And you have, of course, a start of a romance, because we had 0 smut in this book. I was convinced it's going to have smut, but then it had world building, and I was like, okay, so this is going to be an actual non-smutty cool book. Nice. But we have a very attractive lover, so I want to continue reading this because of course I want to see the dynamic, you know, and all of the blood play and stuff. So I'm excited for the rest of it, and it was interesting, I will say. Maybe not the best book that I've read, but really interesting, I will tell you that. Then for 10 guild points, I had to read a book with the letter D in the title, and so I read Stray Dogs. This is by, why aren't their names written on the fucking cover? So this is by Tony Fleeks. The artist is Trish Forstner, and the colorist is Brad Simpson. And this is basically Disney crossing over with something extremely creepy. It's about this little dog, and she is arriving to a new home, and her owner puts a scarf on her, and she starts to have flashbacks of horrible things that happened to her previous owner. And maybe her new owner is implicated. And it's just, there's a lot of dogs where she has, and all of those dogs have a past, and they're now with this person, and you're starting to understand that terrible things are happening to the dogs and happen to their owners. And it's just, it's, the cuteness is completely overridden by the insane, excruciating, oh what the fuck is going on violence that happens in the middle. And I'm like, please, why are you, I mean, if you have trigger warnings for animal cruelty, this is not for you. I mean, it's not specifically and totally on page, although there's 2 scenes that, my god, but what you feel and desperation of these small dogs just wanting to live, ooh, it was terrible. And they were so cute, so I was like, oh my god, they're so cute. And then I was like, oh shit, what was that? And it went to some cruelty really fast, and I was aghast. I knew this was going to be horror, but shit, they played me with the cute little dogs. They did. They hurt me, and they hurt the dogs too, and I don't like it. I don't really like it, but it was awesome. It was so great. It was so bittersweet. I loved it. I really did. Then between those two, I don't remember which one I chose for 5-star prediction and which one I chose for purple cover. They both have purple on the cover and they were both like a 5-star prediction. So here we have Lucky Devil by Cullen Bunn, Fran Galan, and El Torres. And we have The Silver Coin, Volume 1 by a lot of fucking people that are not written in the cover. Okay, by Michael Walsh, Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Ed Brisson, Jeff Lemire, Michael Walsh, and colored by Michael Walsh and Tony Mary Griffin. So this, The Silver Coin, was absolutely fucking insane and awesome. First of all, the color palette of this and all of the batshit crazy things that are happening is just such a great visual medium to read in comics. But the overall story, and this is going to be a series apparently, which we love, is that there's this silver coin that in the beginning we don't know why is here and what it is, but this coin brings a shred of a little bit of luck to people that possess them, and then she fucking destroys those people and everyone around it because it's evil for some reason that now I know because I finished this one, and this one tells us the story of the coin. And wow, it's really cool. I wasn't expecting that. I have to say, I was expecting something similar, but not that. And it was pretty awesome. And there's questions for future volumes also pointed in this one. And there's just some stories about what the coin did to specific people. And it was so enjoyable. If this was my 5-star prediction, it was definitely a 5 stars. If this wasn't and was a purple book, then we have a little bit of a problem. Because even though Lucky Devil was interesting, I enjoyed it. It was sort of a religious horror in which our main character is possessed by a demon and then he gets exorcised, but he keeps the demon's powers, so he starts a cult. Even though it's enjoyable, and even though I laughed and liked some of the horror scenes in here, it's very... How can I say this? I don't want to say mainstream because I haven't read anything like this, but it's really just, you know, those B-rated movies that you watch for fun and that you know don't have great topics in them. It's what this is. I mean, in the beginning of it, it's kind of a social criticism of how we are treated by everyone in our lives like just pieces of meat, and so we are fragile, and we can definitely be corrupted by evil forces like actual pieces of meat instead of having like a conscience. And if we like or don't like to have someone else owning to things that we will probably like to do but don't have the power to do. So that part is interesting, but then it's just... I don't know. I kind of like our main character because sometimes I feel like a loser too. And he defines himself like that, which I don't think it's healthy. It's normal to feel like you're a loser sometimes, but define yourself like that, it's not healthy. Take it from me. And it's just, it was interesting. So if this was my 5-star prediction, it didn't reach it. It wasn't bad. The art style was cool and I love the story, but it wasn't a 5-star. It could have been better in so many ways. It could have been worse as well. So overall, I enjoy it and I'm happy that I read this. And I'm going to keep it because I don't have a lot of religious horror. And it's a genre that I would like to tiptoe into. So yeah. Then I had to read a book with more than one POV. And I read a book that I actually got in April. And it was like a gift for myself. I got the Waterstones exclusive edition of The Atlas 6 by Ollie V. Blake. And I read it entirely. It was the only actual fucking book that I read. And it's a small book, and it was really fast to read if I actually had the time to pick it up. But I really enjoyed Atlas 6. I'm not going to tell what it is because it's TikTok sensation, BookTok sensation, everything sensation, Bookstagram, BookTube, everything. So probably all of you know what the Atlas 6 is about. If you don't know, ask me in the comments, I will tell you. I enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting enjoying it as much as I did from the beginning. I really like the writing style of this author. I really liked the description of the characters. I really like how all of the characters, I could imagine them having a relationship with all of them, but I could also imagine them killing each other, like really. And it was really fun because I could empathize with some of the characters, but there were some that I outright spooked me. Like I didn't want to have a relationship with those people, but it was really nice. And the mindfucked ending that this had, I was like, okay, let's just pre-order the second one, please, because I have to know. And one of the characters here, one of the secondary characters that I thought, why is this character here? I don't want to know anything about this character. I don't care about him. And now I fucking care. And I am going to be so mad at myself if I have a crush on him in the next book, but I know myself. I know that I'll probably do it. But yeah, I really like Atlas 6. And then to finalize my quests, I had to read a green book, and I did. I read Beautiful Darkness, which is also a graphic novel. This is by Fabien Velmont and Carascute, I think. I don't know how to speak this language. This is, what is this? This is, I don't know. Wow. This is printed in Canada. It's like the, I don't know. Maybe they're French Canadian, but the names are really strange. But anyways, The Beautiful Darkness. This is another cutesy story, which you can see through here. You have like a lot of small like fairy-like creatures and people, and small just like fairy-like people, creatures, and small animals like rabbits, and everything is in the woods and everything is beautiful. But the juxtaposition of this beauty with the utter fucking violence that you find in this book it's so gross, and it's so, wow. I was just like, I was turning the page like, oh, they're so cute, and then I'll be like, why are you doing that? It's just, it gets to the point of you're seeing like these fairy-like creatures dancing, and then they are ripping the legs out of a ladybug because they don't know any better, and because they're fucking violent monsters. And I felt like I was reading The Lord of the Flies, but with little, small, cute fairy people. And that's just fucking wrong. You don't do The Lord of the Flies with fairy people, with cute little, with their dresses and their wings and their, there's a scene where one of them just goes into this nest where there's a lot of little birdies because they're trying to find food. Their home, which I'm not going to tell you what their home was because, why? But, okay, I'm gonna tell you. So this begins with them being evicted of their home, and their home was the corpse of a little girl. You heard me fucking correctly. These fairy people lived in the corpse of a little girl. But one day it started to rain, and the corpse just got bloated with the rain, and they had to get out because they would die drowning. And so now they need to find food. And one of them goes to this nest with birds, and he's like, okay, I'm going to wait for the worm that Mama Bird brings. And Mama Bird gives him the worm with her beak in his throat, and he just starts fucking bleeding and gagging and dying. And he's just a cute little cinnamon roll, and I was like, why am I watching this? What the fuck is going on? And I know this is supposed to be like a grim fairy tale, like a very aggressive grim fairy tale, but Jesus Christ, there were scenes in here I was not expecting, and little animals having problems, like, who the fuck takes the legs off a ladybug? Like, are you fucking okay? I mean, yes, I kill mosquitoes, but it's only if they, like, don't let me sleep and are going around trying to drink my blood. Because if not, I don't mind if there's flies around. I'm afraid of spiders. Like, it's not afraid, I'm grossed out by spiders, but I don't kill them if they're, like, on the other side of the window. But if they're on my side, like, I feel uncomfortable. Because I feel like they're going to go, like, all over me. But you don't kill small, even when I do that, I'm like, I shouldn't be killing that mosquito, or I shouldn't be trying to kill that spider, because why should you kill tiny creatures? And my god, and they were so cute, all of them, and they were so evil, and it's like the deconstruction of how people are in their essence evil, and I hate to agree with that. I was like, no, they have to be something good on them. And the only good fucking person wasn't that good, actually. So here goes my childhood, my adulthood, my young adult life, everything. I don't trust people anymore after this. It was so cute and so fucking violent. Wow, and I read horror, okay? Because if I haven't, I think I would throw up sometimes. So that's it, guys. An immense wrapping up of the things that I've read for April. It's not much in consideration to the fact that I only read graphic novels and comics, and I read one lousy book, but it's kind of a lot since I had a lot of work and not a lot of time. I had mental health breakdowns and everything that you'll see if you watch my vlogs. So yeah, it's what we got, and I'm so fucking happy that I completed the first equinox for Necromancer, and now we have more, I think, in August, and I am so excited. I'm going to have to read like a double of what I've read, and I don't know if I can, but manga and comics will always be my faithful companions to get through these readathons. So that's going to be all for today. If you read any of these books or you want to talk about any of these books without spoilers, tell me something in the comments down below. That's going to be all for today. If you want, please subscribe and like the video. And that's all for today. Happy readings to you all. Bye!